In this video, I'll demonstrate how to make secure file transfers between your computer, that could either be a Windows, Mac or Linux machine, and a UnoEuro web server. So currently we've only been doing FTP connections and these are not secure. So what we want to do is we want to secure the connection between both machines. So so we're sure that nothing malicious is being uploaded to our website, because maybe a hacker has access to the Wi-Fi or something. For file transfers, we'll not be using CyberDuck anymore because we have something much better. FileZilla is another program also used for file transfers, and it is used by the major companies and has a lot more to offer. So what you probably should do now is download the FileZilla client and install it. In order to establish a secure connection between our machine and a web server, we need to have a private and a public key. Private key is something we install on our computer, and public key is something we install on a web server. The private key is saved on our computer and should never be shared with anyone. This is super important because that's like a password. The public key is not that important and can be shared with anyone. So the first step would be to create the key pairs and upload it to the web server and install it on our own computer. So to create the key pairs, we'll be using Visual Studio Code, and we'll then go, we open a folder where we're going to work with them. Inside this folder, we want to open terminal. I'm just switching over to another kind of terminal, writing CMD. So now I should be using the same terminal as you. To create a key pair, we have to write a single command line, but it's going to be a little bit long, but I'm going to explain it during the process. So SSH keygen, we don't have to install anything here, we just write this in the terminal. This is something shipped by your computer. -t RSA. RSA is the version of key pair that we want to create, or the type. Then we define the security level, which is in this case 4096. This is something you should not change. And then we write a comment. This would be our UnoEuro SFTP key pair. Just to have a little comment what this key pair is about. And then we want to create this key pair inside our folder here, and that is then done by writing -f dot slash, and then we're going to call it ID_RSA. We press enter, and we don't want a passphrase, and we don't want a passphrase again. And now we can see that our key pair has been successfully created. Now if we go up here, we have now two files, the ID_RSA and the ID_RSA pub. The ID_RSA is our private key, so this one is something we never share with anyone. And the ID_RSA pub is the public key, which we can share with everybody. So what we're going to do now is we copy the whole key here. So I'm pressing Ctrl+C or whatever works on your machine. And then we want to upload it to UnoEuro web server. We'll be going inside our control panel on UnoEuro. Then we go to website. We scroll down to the bottom. We have the SSH access. I'm just deleting this one because that is the one I'm currently using, but we'll create a completely new one. And then inside here, I'll copy paste the whole key pair, the public one, and I'm going to call this one UnoEuro SFTP. I'm adding it, and the SSH key has been added. Good. So now the public key is on our web server. Now we just have to install the private key on our own computer so it can be used with FileZilla. So FileZilla knows which key to use during a secure connection with the web server. So now you should probably have installed FileZilla already. The first thing you should do then is going to edit, settings, and inside settings we have the SFTP option here. I'm also again removing the old key here and I'm adding the new one. So this is now the folder where the private and the public keys are. I'm going to select the private one and I open it. So now this one has been imported, and by clicking on OK, the settings are saved. In the future, what we could do is we could write each time inside here Linux 77.UnoEuro and whatever the username is and the password and the port is. But we want to kind of create a setting that we just have to do one click and it automatically fills this, so like a bookmark. In order to create a bookmark for our UnoEuro web server, we simply can click on this icon and it opens the site manager here. Then we want to add a new site here. I'm going to call this UnoEuro SFTP. And then we have to specify some rules here and some information. So we want to create an SFTP connection. My host name is linux77.unoeuro.com. That is something that I can get from this page. You can access it by clicking on website and login information. And then I have all this information. So host is linux77.unoeuro.com. The port should always be 22 because 22 is used for a secure connection. My username is advinami and the password is something you never will know. Then I can click on OK. So the bookmark has now been created. And when I click now on the drop-down file here, I can see I have now access to the bookmark. And when I simply click on it, ta-da! Now I have an FTP connection to my web server of UnoEuro, and I can now access websites and all the folders which are online here. And I also can drag and drop inside here. If you want to check if you have a secure connection, just scroll up here. These are all the folders, these are all the files inside a folder. And if the folder bin, dev, etc. home and all these one, the top levels one here exists, it means that you have a secure connections, because these folders and files are so sensitive that they're only available upon a secure connection. That's it.